Hey everybody, this is Tim the Wilder, bringing you a Warhammer video. This one was played against Gotrek on the Vermin League Land Battle Ladder, and it illustrates a beastman style that I think is kind of cool. It's like very different than other play styles, but it's very threatening and it's good against boxes. So this is Double Ghorgon Jabber, which people call DGJ, and it essentially uses the Jabber Scythe as like a super chariot to run over a box. And I picked this one because Gotrek is a really well-known box player. He's kind of like the static box formation player. And he's taken a really interesting build that's very teched out to beat a regular Beastman rush. So, some infantry, some cav, some supporting range. And this is like a near ideal situation for Double Ghorgon Jabber because there's only like a certain number of units that interact with these giant SEs, the Jabber Scythe and the two Gorgons. And he hasn't taken very many of them. So I wanted to show you all this to just give you like a general concept for how does this work. And then normally they would take a few more tools against it. But this is sort of to give you an idea of. So the build, you've got your three big SEs. You've got a Malagor. He's like pretty good at chasing stuff and can do some utility against tight boxes. Then a little bit of Chaff to help open up holes and take out their ranged. And then Gotrek's build is really interesting. So he's got the Dragon-Blooded Shugin Lord. He's stacked up Spell Mastery, so he'll be able to do a really large amount of damage with Dragon's Breath. He's got a War Drum, which is buffing his whole box. And he's got a few crossbows, which are the thing we're going to be looking out for and trying to take out. And then he's taking these Alchemists just as area leadership buffs and a Spell Cleave buff. So he's really set up to just clear out Pestigors and a melee and cav rush. And it's really not set up against what we're about to do. So loading back in, we want to get a good surround on the box before we collapse. So we get like these things in range. This is like how we're actually winning the game. And we try to get a good encirclement without taking damage. Gotrek does a nice thing, which is he like moves his box up a little bit to try to like feint. But, we're seeing that. So when you're surrounding a box, you don't want to get shot before all your pieces are in position. So there's like a holding game where you want to move out and continue surrounding them. So we're moving in, we're looking for our entry point, and generally these things will take out SEs and protect the Jabber, and then the Jabber will actually win by killing their ranged assets. So we're moving into position now. We give the go order. Now he's got to get his box back in position really fast, or else he's going to get collapsed on. So we're moving in. He sees that. He's forming up the box just in time. Gotrek's pretty experienced at playing boxes. And here we go. So we make a little bit of a misplay here. This should be moving, but it's okay. And we're keeping this piece out of range until we're in contact, and then we move it in. And basically, it has this crazy, crazy charge animation where it'll move like 30 meters, which makes it really difficult to shoot and really difficult to stay on top of with SEs. We moved the Gorgon that was getting focused out. And here we are from the perspective of GC. Oh no, here it comes. Here comes the big boy. Ah! A really scary time to be a peasant. And what it's doing is punching through the front line and then trying to get on the highest damage dealer. So you want to sort by their damage to health ratio. So this unit, this elite crossbow, does a really large amount of damage, but it's got about the same amount of health as other things. So we get on that first because it's really one of the only things in play that can actually shut down this Jabber. And then we're blobbing because his units that are trying to kill the Jabber will do splash damage and distribute it across our three SEs. So these are essentially giving more health on the Jabber, which drops this crazy ground AoE and has a mortis and all kinds of damage. So as long as this isn't getting damaged too much, we'll essentially win. We've compromised all three of his ranged assets, which is great. This unit's kind of staying outside of the box and is going to try to rout things off. We're attempting to get a terror rout on this. And he's just kind of running around trying to damage our big SEs futilely with this Lord. Malagor avoiding getting caught. So here, ideally, actually, Malagor would be on these Jade crossbows. That's like a small misplay on our part. Oh, there he goes. Perfect. And now he really doesn't have any shooting assets online. And you can see that. That's the crazy animation on it. It just goes flying. And it's pretty much over now, actually. He has nothing left to deal with the Gorgons and the Jabber. And these units are just going to bounce around, mowing down and mulching peasants, doing a whole lot of damage. Kind of cool units. Very scary. Big monster rar. And now I'll fast forward a little bit. so you can just sort of see the ping-ponging occurring. A little bit of an animation bug there, pulling our units. And you can just see that like massive lunging animation is totally monstrous. So we've got our RAR outside of the box, mowing down routing units. Malagor's kind of poking things when he gets the opportunity. You can lose if he gets caught, but it's hard to catch him. He's very fast. And then the Jabber just runs over everything as a super chariot. And you can see the Gorgons are pretty healthy. Like, he just doesn't really have anything that can carve these down late game. So this is an example of, like, if you're playing beastmen and you're finding their boxes really, really set up for your melee infantry and cav rush, this is like a kind of curveball you can throw at them that's pretty good, actually. And it makes people facing beastmen think about more things. So let's look at the damage. Relatively straightforward, kind of textbook approach. So Malagor did obscenely well. He boxed a little too much, thumped up, so that's flock proccing on a lot of things. The Jabber did very well. You know, he's focusing it with most of his damage assets. It's paying for itself. It's getting terror outs. The Gorgons did all right, but they were full health, so he was going to have to deal with these late. Rar did fine. His spell cleave build was very good against these. You know, we went in, and he dedicated his assets to taking those out, but that's okay. You know, we did our job. Normally they would be shooting like iron hails or something that's better set up to deal with this. And then his lord did quite well, and nothing else really did. Got a little bit of damage on these. This did all right. And then the infantry just kind of got snowplowed. So there you have it, folks. That is Double Ghorgon Jabber. Give it a try. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe if you want more of this content. Thanks.